What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on Alibaba, so ticker BABA. On the left-hand side, we do have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this is a stock that I watch semi-regularly, not so much anymore given that the price action here has been pretty firm to the downside. However, on today's session, a lot of talks out there from the regulators about delisting the Chinese companies. We did a video on NEO, same exact thing's going to apply here. If you didn't watch the video, I'll give you a quick recap. When a stock is delisted, it's not like it goes away. The stock just doesn't go to zero. All it does is take it off of the major exchanges here in the US, and that sort of keeps it, there's more roadblocks, right, in terms of getting involved. It's not as attractive for big firms to buy and hold anymore. You have to go through an over-the-counter exchange. All of that stuff makes it just not as attractive. But as I mentioned, it's not like the stock just poofs and goes off to nowhere and the price is automatically zero. No, you'll still have your shares. If you own shares, they'll probably continue to fall, but that's just, it's not due to the delisting. It's the consequences of, people not being able to easily access the shares. So that's what I wanted to get out of the way first. Obviously, we've broken down underneath that 130 critical area of support, which we've mapped out, and we've had it on the chart now for a number of weeks from the weekly watch list video over on the main channel. What we want to do is grab some more time here and just see what we have underneath us in terms of support. Remembering, again, here's where it was coming from. Very critical support, just absolutely blown right through to the downside. So it's not looking so good here. Is it an overreaction? I'm not entirely certain just yet, but we have to play the chart as it lies. So let's go ahead and map out this as the next potential support around 110 coming from this prior pivot high. Anything underneath that, and it starts to become this at 98.83, call it 100 even for nice psychological sake. So back down to the daily so we can actually kind of see what's going on from a candle by candle perspective. I mean, again, still completely falling out of bed here, out of the sky. Big gap down from the earnings cycle in here. It's just not looking good. Again, could it bounce here? It could, but based on all of the factors that are kind of stacked against the stock at this point in time, I wouldn't be looking for a major reversal up into either the gap area, even into this high here at 150, 140. I mean, all of that stuff seems like a stretch with all of the catalysts behind this one that are impacting in the negative direction. What else can we learn about this from the 30-minute intraday time frame? Well, certainly you do have a downtrend in place, right? If we take out the resistance trend line, let's come in from the top of the gap down to something like this. What you'll notice is you get anchor, touch number one, kind of two here. More importantly, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get the gist, right? So on any bounces, that is your must kind of watch level. And as of right now, let's hover the cursor where it will be. It's around 124.65, 125. You can call it in the best case scenario if it's out of the gates tomorrow morning. Let's zoom in on this actually a little bit so you can see better. So again, I'm looking at this 124.50, 125 best case scenario, first 30-minute bar tomorrow morning. And if it can't break that, then again, just expect this downtrend to continue to chug along to the downside. Now, if it does break, that does open up a possibility for a long, and you're probably looking at something like breaking this horizontal area as well. So here, bull flag. If it goes, and again, we talked about everything stacked against the odds right here. If it goes, you're probably looking for this kind of area just shy of 128, 128.75. You get the gist. This is an area of congestion. That's probably a high volume node. If I were to look on a volume profile chart, that would be the upside target. And from there, you would monitor for continuation. I would do something like take 3/4 of your position off here and kind of try to let that last quarter ride to see if you get any more upside lift. However, we know that the stock's in a very aggressive downtrend. Be aggressive with taking profits if this is the scenario that even presents itself in the first place. If it happens, again, that's fantastic, but we're not expecting that. It's not a likely scenario as we head into tomorrow's session. What I think is more likely is either a break sideways through time through this resistance trend line, noting the steepness and severity of it. And if it just goes sideways through time, then what do we have from the daily? Well, I would start to argue that anything that looks like this is just a massive bear flag, a breakdown of the lows, gets us lower into some of those downside targets we found at 110, and then obviously underneath that 100 psychological and 98.83 coming from that prior pullback area we found on the weekly. So those are my thoughts here in Alibaba. The main reason I wanted to bring it up today was just to sort of clear the air. If it does get delisted, obviously the impacts of that likely will be lower, but it's not like it's going to zero. It's not disappearing. You'll just have to access it through other means. Those are my thoughts in Baba. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new today, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.